Okay, welcome everyone to tonight's information seminar. And even though this is partly online, partly face-to-face, for those of you who can't come tonight, I'd like to still extend a warm welcome to you all, for those of you who are online. So we're going to do three things tonight. One is talk about, why you might want to study law, and two, if you want to study law, which institution is good, and three, what's program, which program might suit you. Okay, so three things we can do tonight. Of course, I'm one of the program directors at Hong Kong U Space, and I run a number of law programs, which include, the Diploma in Civic Legal Studies. We also have a variety of different law programs, including, a Bachelor of Laws, Masters, a whole host of postgraduate law programs. Okay, so depending on your needs, depending on, the outcome you want. Just to quickly introduce myself, okay. My name is Thomas, and I'm a lawyer. I have a background in law, of course, and I worked for a number of different organizations, both, in Hong Kong and overseas as well. Okay, but enough about me. Let's talk about you. Okay, we do have social media. So we have an Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Facebook. So of course, go online and subscribe or give us a like. Okay. Okay, so why might you want to study law? All right. There are a whole host of reasons why law might be important. You might be thinking about studying law because of your career. Either you want to enhance your career, or because you're thinking about, changing to a legal career, for example. But another very important reason is that it is still very important to know what the law is, because the presumption is everyone is presumed to know the law. Okay. Just to give you a few examples, right? So one is risk reduction, right? And I'll explain more by what I mean. Okay. So, for example, you go on Uber and you travel, by car instead of a taxi. What happens if you're involved in a car accident? You might think, oh, rightly, the driver is responsible. Well, that's true, the driver is responsible, right? But will he or she be able to afford to give you the money to pay for your medical expenses, right? To pay you back for all the injury and harm, okay? If he or she can't pay, can you go and ask for money from the insurance company? Is Uber legal in Hong Kong? Uber, I believe, the business model as such is still not legal in Hong Kong. Can you go after Uber? Uber is a big company. It's listed in the New York Stock Exchange. You might think, well, I can sue Uber, but you run into some problems, right? Is the driver an employee? How connected are they to Uber, the company? And also, if you look carefully at the Uber, website, or when you download the app, you can see that it says the law is not governed by the law of Hong Kong. It's governed by the law of the Netherlands, right? In Holland, okay, in Europe. And if you look at, for example, the limitations on the claim, right? Limitations of liability. It says 500 euros. So even if you go to Europe and you start, to take legal action, they say, well, we're going to limit paying you up to this amount, right? 500. So, little things like that, you should know. Most people ignore things like that when you look at, your bank application for financial services, when you sign a contract, when you take out insurance. People don't read the fine line, right? And it's important for you to do so. So knowing the law, it's very important. And, if you join a gym, what happens if the gym goes bankrupt, right? So can you get your money back? So you might sign a gym membership for a lot of money and you don't get your money back. Or if you buy property, right? The biggest investment you make in your life, you buy property, there's a lot of legal complications, right? Even if you get the help of a solicitor, it is very important for you to understand, should I make a property inspection, right? Is the owner really the owner, right? Does the owner have to rectify any defects? What if I look at a property, it seems fine, but after I live in it, the roof leaks, right? Or there's a mold, or there's some other structural problems, right? So it might be important. And, most people, want to be in a relationship, or they're thinking about being in a relationship, right? But what happens if it breaks down, right? Do we have prenuptial agreements in Hong Kong? Do we have postnuptial agreements in Hong Kong? What if you have children, right? Who gets custody of children? Okay, so these are important things that you're Christian to know. And of course, there's a little controversy, about the legal system in Hong Kong right now. No matter what you think, knowing the law, knowing your rights, knowing, what happens is still very important, right? And the more you know, the more informed you'll be, the more you can protect your rights. And if you're like 60% of people in Hong Kong, you probably make some kind of investment, right? Investment in shares. If you look at the company prospectus, if you look at, the financial information, you see that, there might be different classes of shares. Okay, so there might be, 1 class, 2 class, 3 class, Well, what's the difference? What happens if you invest into the class? Okay. Does it affect dividends? Does it affect your rights as a shareholder? How does it affect corporate governance? Okay, so again, very important to know. As this man said, ignorance is risk. The less you know, the more risk you have. And we don't know what we don't know. What that means is, we are not aware of our ignorance, right, until we have the knowledge, right, until we know the information. Okay. So, what law qualification then? I mean, if you want to study law, there are a lot of choices out there. There are a lot of options out there. Undeniably, it is not easy to pick up the right program for you. And it depends on what you want, right? If you are thinking about being a lawyer very quickly, there are the JD, LB, CPE, all right? But if you just need to know the law for your job, for your career, there is the certificate in legal studies, all right? Even if you want to become a lawyer, all right, this is still a good option. And I'll explain to you why in a moment, right? So, this is probably a new way and an easier path to becoming a lawyer. So let me just do a comparison quickly. If you compare, for example, an advanced law program, they're usually more expensive, right? They cost more, and it takes more time, and it is harder. Well, that makes sense. these programs are designed for training someone to become a lawyer, right? To argue cases in courts, to give legal advice, right? Whereas the certificate and diploma in legal studies, it is more affordable, right? It's faster and it's much easier in terms of, acquiring the legal knowledge. And the reason why is it's on a different level, right? It's not training you to become a lawyer. Okay. If you look at a quick cost comparison, right? A JD costs about $400,000 Hong Kong, 3.5 to 4 years, compared to, for example, the certificates, right? Which is about starting at about $20,000 Hong Kong. Well, one thing I want to add is that the place where you study is very important, right? And I know there are different providers, for law programs, okay? In terms of part-time law programs or part-time programs in general, right? Hong Kong U Space, it is a very, reliable, very reputable, very historical institution. If you mention Hong Kong U Space to most people in Hong Kong, they would know who we are because we've been around for a long time. In terms of the law program, right? We've been around for 50 years. Okay, so as part of the Hong Kong U system, and many of our students have become legal practitioners, judges, magistrates, barristers, solicitors, right? These are names you can type on LinkedIn, and you can see that they've started off by doing a program in Hong Kong space. And our programs are audited and are under the government framework, all right? So this is something very important. We are accredited. Not only that, right? The certificate, diploma, we have programs accredited by the Hong Kong Law Society, right, which is very important. So we're recognized by the Hong Kong legal industry, the legal profession. And also, very important, a lot of students now are, thinking about not only a legal career in Hong Kong, they're also thinking about, well, can I take this knowledge and maybe if I want to go to UK, right? If I want to go to another jurisdiction, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand, right? Can I do that? The answer is yes, right? And I'll, be able to show you some examples in a moment, right? So you might think, well, I'm just learning Hong Kong law, right? No, that's not true, right? There are a lot of common law overseas lawyers practicing in Hong Kong, and a lot of Hong Kong legal professionals working overseas. Okay? So you can have an international career by studying Hong Kong space. Okay? So why might you want to study with us? Well, if you're one of these students, you might want to study with us, right? If you're thinking about studying law, but you aren't too sure, right? Because you think, well, studying an LLB, studying a JD, this is something that I am not too sure of doing, okay? So you want to try something out, something light, something easier, take a first step, okay? You don't have a lot of time, right? You might have kids or family or a job or business commitments, and you can't afford to spend a lot of time. You want to get the knowledge, but you can't commit a big chunk of time, right? And you need law because your job functions, So maybe you need law for your engineering job, right? For your human resource job, for your marketing job, if you're admin, you need to know what the law is. In contracts, company law, torts, family law even, okay? You're thinking about a career or changing careers, perhaps in this, uncertain economic times, you might have been unemployed and you want to look for a new career direction. This might be a good time to switch path. And, as I mentioned before, you aren't sure about doing an advanced law program yet, and you need some law in your personal life, right? So maybe you're going through a difficult personal situation, right? And you might need to know the law, okay? So just very quickly, it's very simple. I mentioned the certificate, I mentioned the diploma. It is, basically the certificate is the first year, which you can just do and complete and finish. That's fine. But most students continue on to the second year. All right, so these are two independent things. Okay, so do the certificate. If you like it, continue. If you don't like it, you still get, the certificate in legal studies. Okay. To explain a bit more, okay, so this is what you get after 1 year. If you continue, you get the diploma. So the certificate is basically 5 important law areas, which I'll talk more about in a moment, over a period of about 1 year, approximately. We've been running this program for over 30 years, and we have had a lot of students. And I just want to show you some of our students, just very quickly. And you might be thinking, well, what kind of student would do our course, right? Well, for example, Alan here. So Alan here, originally he was a barista working for Starbucks, right? He made coffee and drinks, and and he was a waiter at Ruby Tuesday, etc. And so after he did the diploma in legal studies, all right, not so long ago, okay, so 2013 to 15, and he got a job in Deacon's, a large law firm in Hong Kong, and then he got a job as a law clerk at a local law firm, and now he's working as a legal officer for Genting's Hong Kong. Right? So those of you who don't know what Genting's, they are a big company in Malaysia, a global company. They own Star Cruise in Hong Kong. Okay, so if you see one of those big ships near Harbour City, you see that. Well, that's the company, right? They also have plantations, oil platforms, hotels. They're fairly big, right? Okay, another person here, just to show you that you can have a global legal career, right? And you might think, well, that's not true. Julie here is a partner in a law firm in the US, right? This law firm is ranked Tier 1 and Tier 2 on US news reports, so they're fairly, big regional law firm. So you might think, well, Julia is an American lady, but, she started off a long time ago by doing a diploma in legal studies at Hong Kong Youth Space, right? So when she was in Hong Kong, a while ago, 15 years ago, she did a diploma in legal studies after completing a bachelor degree in Boston College, right? And then she went on to do a JD at Penn State, and then, she became, a lawyer, now a partner. Okay, and there are many examples. Another example, Eddie here is a partner in a local law firm. And he started off by doing a diploma in legal studies, right? And then he did a LB and an LM, and now he's a partner. Okay, so many examples of people who started off by the certificate, right? And we have CEOs, right? I know of at least 5 or 6 CEOs, and you might think, well, that's impossible. Well, it's not. If you look at this company, the stock code, I think the text is very small. It's 174, and Alan here is the CEO. Adrian here is the CEO, and you can see that it says on his profile he did a diploma in legal studies from Hong Kong Youth Space in 1996. Well, of course, he has other qualifications, his MBA, CCPA, etc. So, and there are professors from Poly U, Dr. Lai, diploma in legal studies. All right. Of course, he has more than a diploma. He has a PhD here, master's degree. But we have judges, right? Judiciary, Diploma in Legal Studies, Hong Kong U Space, right? Here it is, okay? We have Japanese people. We have Tomoko Iwasa, and she's a consultant manager for this immigration firm based in New York. And, you know, she did a Diploma in Legal Studies at Hong Kong U Space. So you can have an international career. Doesn't matter whether you're American, you are German, you know, French, Japanese, you know, or Hong Kong. So this is a really good course. Okay, so the certificate is basically 5 important law subjects. All right, Hong Kong legal systems. So not just about the Hong Kong legal system, but describing the common law British legal system. Right, contract, torts. Talking about legal agreements, talking about harm being done to someone, company law, you know, suing someone, right, or being sued, a process of litigation, and Hong Kong basic law, okay, Hong Kong constitutional law. And after that, you get this beautiful certificate. And of course, we encourage you to do the diploma because you'll be studying another 5 law subjects, right? Criminal law. Okay, murder, arson, theft, okay. Land law, buying and selling property, leases, mortgages, family law, marriage, divorce, custody of children. What happens to your property when you die? And of course, the mainland legal system. Okay, so we also teach you very important legal skills like how to write, right? Writing in law is not the same as, you know, writing a blog or writing an email. It requires special skills. How to find the law, legal research and legal thinking, the mindset of a legal professional. Okay. So we offer you a lot. And who's going to teach you? We have professionals, right? We have, for example, Danny here. Danny is the expert on the basic law. You know, unlike other law programs, our law programs, you know, we have teachers with very extensive legal experience. What do I mean by that? You know, they have, you know, extensive practice experience. They're barristers, solicitors, company secretaries. You know, so they are very, you know, very knowledgeable, right? Very, you know, good teachers. And we also have the legal textbooks provided for you. You know, you don't need to go out and buy legal texts. They're all provided, both the online version and the offline version as well. In fact, I have some here, which I can show you. So these are some of the legal textbooks that we have. All right, so these are all provided for you when you enroll, both the online copy and also the offline printed version as well. And you have access to Hong Kong resources, the law library, the main library, LexisNexis, Westlaw. You can go and, you know, read the textbooks and look at the electronic databases if you want to. And we know you have family commitments, we know you have life commitments, so you can either have 1 or 2 classes a week, depending on the intake you enroll in, a choice of exams, right? So if you can't come to exams in June, come to exams in August, can't come in August, come in October, or you can spread the exams out. Have 2 exams in June, 1 in August, 1 in October. So we are very flexible. We understand that, you know, you have different life priorities. But most units complete within the 12 months. And if you want to, you know, if you love law so much, you want to go on and do further legal studies, you're guaranteed a place on the London U prep course, which we run, okay, at Hong Kong U Space. If you want to do the, you know, graduate diploma in English Hong Kong law, also called the CPE. If you complete the certificate, diploma, and advanced diploma, okay, you get a distinction, a good mark, you guarantee a place on the very competitive CPE program, okay. But these are not the only options out there. As I mentioned before, there's a new pathway towards becoming a lawyer. Okay, this is very exciting. If you go on and complete this pathway with us, right? You do the certificate, the diploma, and the advanced diploma, and then you become, as I'll tell you more about it later, a legal executive. Okay, you can then do this course, right? We call it the advanced diploma for legal executive, right? Which meets the requirements you need to complete the PCLL or to go on to the PCLL. Okay. So what I mean by that is, this is a new pathway towards becoming legally qualified in Hong Kong. So if you want to become a legal professional, a practicing lawyer in Hong Kong, a barrister listed in Hong Kong, okay, you can simply do this, right? Become a legal executive, do this extra course, and go on to do the PCLL. So there are many ways of becoming a lawyer in Hong Kong, right? Not only by doing an LLB, a CPE, this is a new pathway which you can go on to have a legal career as a lawyer. You might ask me this, is it hard to do the program? And the answer is not. The pass rate is 80 to 90%, and 80 to 90% means that if you study, it's likely you'll pass. If you don't pass, what happens? Just do the exam again. Okay, so 80 to 90% pass rate. Each module has one exam, one assignment. So not a lot of time commitments, right? So for one subject, one take-home written assignment, individual, and one exam. Okay, not very hard. There are two flavors available, right? One is called the general stream, and one is called the professional stream. Okay, so what's the difference between the two? Well, the general stream is a larger class size, right? And we want to make this as affordable as we can. All right, so we would use one of the larger venues, for example, at Hong Kong U or another location. Okay, so it's more affordable, about $20,000 Hong Kong, right? And larger class size, we hold this once a year, right? Good option to have if you want more affordability. Okay, you can use your CEF money to study this course, study and claim your money back when you finish. Oh, and the other option is, you can see in orange here, is what we call the professional stream. Okay, what is that? Well, the law is the same. Okay, the textbooks are the same, the assessments are the same. The difference is that we have a smaller class size. Right? By smaller, I mean about 50, 60 students. Okay. You have more time choices. There are several intakes a year which you can choose from. Right? You can study either once a week or twice a week. All right? You can start at different times. Okay, and the most important thing is that if you continue studying the certificate, diploma, advanced diploma, you can get a title of the legal executive, which is an assistant to a lawyer, from the Hong Kong Law Society. Okay, remember the pathway I showed you before, right? Whereby you do this program, you do the advanced diploma for legal executive, and then you can do the PCLL. That option is only available if you go on a professional stream, okay? But it's going to be a little bit more expensive, about $30,000 Hong Kong. So as I mentioned before, general stream, larger class size, two classes a week, all right? Bigger classrooms, more people, weekdays, 7 p.m., okay? For the professional stream, smaller class size, 1 or 2 classes a week, depending on intake. Weekdays or weekend classes, a little bit more expensive. All right, so more a luxurious experience, right? Okay. Well, studying law provides a lot of opportunities, right? So you can become a paralegal, right, which is an assistant to a lawyer, right? Or you can become a legal executive, right? The difference is a legal executive is basically a title given by the Hong Kong Law Society, right? And there are certain criteria. One criteria is that you need to complete the program in the professional stream, okay? So if you want to do this, you need to do it professional stream. There's still a very strong demand for legal services, right? According to a recent survey, the legal industry compared to other industries is still very strong. Well, when you think about it, it makes sense. No matter what the economic climate is, right? If the economy is good, then of course, you can have, work in employment law, you can have work in, family law, you can have work in criminal law, right? When the economy is bad, you still have work in bankruptcy law, you still have work in, employment law, criminal law, family law, right? So it's still a demand for, legal services no matter what happens, right? If you look at the legal salary guide from last year, you can see that if you have some experience, your salary is still very, very good, right? It says here 240K to 480K, 0 to 5 years experience. For someone with 15 years experience, not 50K, and you can also become a ComSat, etc., etc. So the outlook is still very good. And of course, you can claim money from the government. If you complete the course, if you are eligible, you need to check, you can get your $20,000 or thereabout back. So if you think studying law would benefit you, then by all means, try it out for 12 months. If you enjoy it, continue. If you don't, you can stop. Doesn't hurt you. Very risk-free. Right. So once again, just to recap, this program is very affordable. Right, $20,000 to $30,000. Open entry. Anyone can join. We don't have any entry requirements. No GMAT, no IELTS. Anyone can enroll. And it's a very easy way to study law. You can enroll online or enroll offline in one of our learning centers. First come, first serve. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for